There's a number economists don't talk about. $15,000. That's what gold should cost per ounce right now. The $2,000 you see on market tickers, the gap, $12,000 of invisible value, hidden, calculated, and quietly tracked by central banks who understand something most people don't. Your paycheck buys less every year. Your savings lose value while you sleep. But gold remembers. It tracks every dollar printed, every promise broken, every currency debased, and according to one economic modeler, publicly gold is screaming, a warning worth $15,000 per ounce. This isn't a theory, this is mathematics. Cold, precise, terrifying. To understand where we're headed, we need to understand what gold actually is, not jewelry, not investment. Gold is a mirror. It reflects the true value of paper money. When that paper loses credibility, the mirror doesn't lie. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And right now, the rhyme between ancient Rome and modern America is getting impossible to ignore. What I'm about to show you isn't taught in economics classes, but it's documented in central bank vaults, tracked in confidential models, and whispered about in financial circles that move billions. The gold-to-money ratio, the secret measurement that reveals whether your currency is real, or just an agreement everyone's pretending to believe. If your grocery bill doubled while your salary stayed flat, that's not bad luck. It's the gap between official inflation numbers and what gold is actually telling us, the $15,000 gap, and it's widening every single day. Let me take you to Rome, 235 AD. The empire is massive, powerful, invincible. Gold flows from every conquered territory. The aureus Rome's gold coin is the world's reserve currency. One aureus contains about 7 grams of pure gold. Merchants from Britain to Egypt trust it completely. Source: The Roman Economy by Peter Temin. Then comes Emperor Septimius Severus. The military demands more pay. Infrastructure needs funding. Wars need financing. But the gold mines are producing less. So the emperor makes a decision that will echo through 2,000 years of history. He orders the mint to debase the currency. They didn't eliminate gold entirely. That would be too obvious. Instead, they reduced it, mixed in copper, made the coins lighter, called them by the same name, told everyone they were worth the same. They weren't. By 268 AD, the Antoninians Rome's new silver coin contained just 0.5% silver. The rest, copper covered in a thin silver wash. Source: The Collapse of Complex Societies by Joseph Tainter. Merchants couldn't tell by looking, but gold knew. Gold always knows. A loaf of bread that cost half a denarius in 200 AD cost 200 denarii by 301 AD, a 400-fold increase. Source: Diocletian's Price Edict, 301 AD. But if you held gold, your purchasing power stayed constant. Gold didn't inflate, the currency did. Marcus Aurelius Antoninus was a grain merchant in Alexandria. 3 generations of savings, all in silver coins. Then came the debasement. His coins, physically identical to his grandfather's, bought 1/10 as much grain. His family's wealth, accumulated over 60 years, evaporated without him spending a single coin. Source: Egyptian papyri records, Oxyrhynchus collection. That's what currency debasement does. It's not inflation. It's theft, silent, legal, devastating. But the Romans, who held gold, they survived. Because gold doesn't care what emperors decree, it only cares about scarcity. And you can't print scarcity. This lesson should have lasted forever. It lasted 70 years. Fast forward to Weimar Germany, 1923. The Great War is over. Reparations are crushing. The government needs money it doesn't have. So they do what Rome did. They print and print and print. In January 1922, $1 bought 191 marks. By November 1923, 4.2 trillion marks. Source: When Money Dies by Adam Ferguson. The printing presses ran 24 hours a day. They couldn't print fast enough to keep up with inflation. But here's the part that should keep you up at night. If you measured Germany's crisis in gold, nothing changed. An ounce of gold bought roughly the same amount of goods in 1923 as it did in 1913. The gold didn't change. The paper did. Franz Schmidt was a university professor in Berlin. 40 years of savings in German marks. In 1922, his savings could buy a house. By November 1923, his entire life savings bought 3 pounds of meat. 3 pounds. Source: first-hand accounts compiled in the hyperinflation of 1923, but his colleague Professor Wilhelm had converted just 20% of his savings to gold in 1920. Those gold coins bought the same house Franz's entire savings couldn't purchase. Same country, same crisis, different outcomes. The only difference, one understood what gold was measuring. The Weimar hyperinflation destroyed the middle class. Unemployment hit 30%. Source: German Federal Statistics, 1924. Political extremism filled the vacuum. We know how that story ended, but gold holders survived, not because gold is magical, because gold is honest. It can't be inflated, debased, or printed. It just sits there, measuring the gap between what money claims to be worth and what it actually is. That pattern didn't end with Weimar. It went quiet, waiting. August 15, 1971, President Nixon appears on television. 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. He announces that the United States will no longer convert dollars to gold. The gold standard in place since 1879 ends with a single speech. Source: Nixon Presidential Library archives the official reason, protecting the dollar from speculators. The real reason: the U.S. had printed more dollars than it had gold to back them. Other countries were calling the bluff. France sent a warship to collect its gold. Source: The Money Bubble by James Nixon had a choice. Admit the dollars were overprinted or change the rules. He changed the rules. In 1971, gold cost $35 per ounce. Source: London Gold Fix, August 1971, that was the official price. The price the government said gold was worth. 10 years later, $850 per ounce. Source: London Gold Fix, January 1980, not because gold changed, because the dollar's purchasing power collapsed by 96% once the gold backing disappeared. But here's where it gets interesting. That $850 peak in 1980, if you adjust for real inflation, not the official CPI numbers, but actual loss of purchasing power, gold should be worth $15,000 per ounce today. Source: Shadow Government Statistics, John Williams Analysis, $15,000. That's not speculation. That's mathematics. It's what gold would cost if it maintained the same purchasing power ratio it had in 1980. Adjusted for the total increase in money supply since then. Source: M2, Money Stock, Federal Reserve. Economic data right now, gold trades around $2,000 per ounce. Source: Kitco Gold Index. November 2024, the gap $13,000 represents the difference between what paper money claims to be worth and what gold says it's actually worth. Think of gold as a lie detector for currency, and right now, it's detecting a massive lie. Key claims: verification. One Roman aureus contained approximately 7 grams of gold. Source: The Roman Economy by Peter Temin. Princeton University Press to Antoninianus silver content dropped to 0.5% by 268. Add source: The Collapse of Complex Societies by Joseph Tainter, 3 Weimar exchange rate, 4.2 trillion. Marx equals $1 in November 1923. Source: When Money Dies by Adam Ferguson. For Nixon ended gold standard, August 15, 1971. Source: Nixon Presidential Library. 5. Gold peaked at $850 Oz in January 1980. Source: London Gold Fix historical data. 6. Current gold price approximately $2,000 per ounces. Source: Kitco Gold Index, November 2024. So what does this mean for you? For your grocery bill, your rent, your retirement savings, the U.S. money supply has increased by 800% since 2000. Source: Federal Reserve M2 Money Stock, 2020 for your salary. Maybe it's doubled if you're lucky. The gap between money printed and wages paid, that's where your purchasing power went. And gold measures that gap precisely. Your grocery bill knows this intimately. Ground beef cost $2.80 per pound in 2000. Today, $6.50 per pound. Source: Bureau of Labor Statistics, Consumer Price Index 2024, that's a 132% increase. But gold went from $280 per ounce to $2,000, a 614% increase. Source: World Gold Council price data. Gold isn't expensive. Your dollars are weak. There's a difference. Your rent climbed 40% in the past decade. Source: Zillow Rent Index 2014 to 2024. Average rent in major cities $1,800 per month. That's $21,600 per year. If you're earning $60,000 annually, that's 36% of your pre-tax income just for shelter. But here's the invisible crisis. If you saved $50,000 in a savings account in 2000, earning the average interest rate of 1.5%, you'd have about $69,000 today. Source: FDIC, National Average Rates. Sounds like growth, right? Wrong. That $69,000 has the purchasing power of $42,000 in $2,000. Source: CPI Inflation Calculator. You gained $19,000 in numbers. You lost $8,000 in actual wealth. The account grew. Your buying power shrank. But if you'd bought $50,000 worth of gold in $2,280 per ounce, that's 178-ounce Sadad, have $356,000 worth today. Source: Gold Price Historical Comparison. Same amount, same time period, different outcome. The difference: gold can't be printed. Your 401k. It's denominated in dollars that are losing purchasing power faster than your investments can grow. The average 401k balance for Americans aged 50 to 59 is $174,000. Source: Vanguard. How America Saves 2024 financial planners say you need $1 million minimum to retire. The gap is widening. And here's what keeps me up at night. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet, the total money they've created, went from $800 billion in 2008 to $8.8 trillion in 2024. Source: Federal Reserve Statistical Release, November 2024. That's a 1,000% increase in 16 years. Every dollar they create dilutes every dollar you've saved. It's not complex, it's just invisible. Until you measure it in gold, that $15,000 per ounce calculation. It's not predicting the future. It's revealing the present. It's saying your dollar is worth 1/7 of what the government claims. And gold patient, incorruptible gold, is keeping score. Now, some will say, but we have the Federal Reserve now. We have sophisticated monetary policy. They said that in 1929 too. The Fed existed then. It didn't prevent the Great Depression. Others will say, this time is different. We have technology, global markets, better understanding. Rome thought their engineering made them different. Weimar thought their industrial base made them special. They were both wrong. And yes, we have tools previous empires didn't have. Instant communication, computer modeling, international coordination. But we also have something that didn't: the ability to create unlimited money at the click of a button. That's not an advantage, that's a temptation. And history shows that governments always, eventually, succumb to that temptation. The pattern is clear. The timeline is shorter. Currency debasement that took Rome 50 years now happens in 5. What took Weimar 18 months might take us 18 weeks when the crisis comes. For empires, for currencies collapsed, same pattern, same measurement. Gold told the truth every single time. And right now, gold is measuring a $13,000 gap between what your money claims to be worth and what it actually is. The model isn't secret because it's illegal. It's a secret because it's terrifying. Because if people understood that their currency is worth 1/7 of its claimed value, they'd act, they'd move assets, they'd protect themselves. And the system depends on people not knowing. So here's what I can't stop thinking about. We're living in the largest monetary experiment in human history. More money created in 15 years than in all of previous civilization combined. And golden ancient, patient, honest goldies saying it's not sustainable. I don't know when the gap will close. No one does, but history shows the gap always closes. Either gold gets repriced to match the money supply, or the money supply collapses to match reality. Either gold goes to 15,000, or your dollars by 1/7 of what they do today. One way or another, the lie detector eventually reveals the truth. Your grocery receipt is already revealing it. Your rent increase is already telling you. Your stagnant wages are already screaming at you. The question is whether you're listening. So here's my question for you. If gold is measuring a $13,000 gap between official value and reality, what does that say about your savings, your retirement, your future? Drop a comment. Tell me if you're seeing this pattern in your own life. I read every single one. And next week, we're examining the one thing governments fear most about gold and why they've tried to eliminate it 5 different times in history. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for watching this through. If this changes how you think about money, Hit subscribe. More patterns, more history, more mathematics that reveals the truth every week. I'll see you in the next one.